Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm gonna give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome into Bucks University. I am Nathan Marzian, joined as always by Stev, aka Bucks Breakdown. You can follow him on Twitter at Bucks_Breakdown, myself at Nathan Marzian, and the podcast at BucksU_pod. June 2nd, it is draft month. Things are ramping up a little bit, getting, I think, more and more knowledge of these guys. And I don't know, I've been looking at them a decent amount, putting my clips together for, the articles I'm writing and stuff like that. So I've definitely been doing a lot of just watching these guys and looking at the stats and stuff. Obviously, because it's played on a spreadsheet, I don't watch the film too much, but I know you're into the film. But yeah, so I know you've been doing the same. You were posting some Cam Carr stuff earlier today, who we already talked about, but anything you want to add on the Cam Carr stuff you've been looking at?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm basically at the point where I'm kind of rewatching guys now, or getting around to doing that. And one of the first guys I jumped back into was Cam Carr. Man, yeah, I think he's a real deal. Yeah, if you want to hear more about him, definitely go watch or listen to our last episode, because that one was a good bit about him, and we went pretty in depth on him. So that was a good one. But yeah, kind of just revisiting the film on him, and yeah, I mean, I'm all in on Cam Carr. And then Phylon today kind of posted that he's in Milwaukee working out for the Bucks. So the last two pod guys.
Yep. Yeah, we had Carr and Phylon in the last pod. So if you want to listen to us break down them, go listen to that one. And then in this one, we are going to be doing two basically polar opposite wing prospects in Nate Ament and Yaxel Lendeborg. So we'll just jump right into it. Who do you want to start with? I'll leave it up to you.
Both my favorite prospects, man. I don't know. Let's do Nate, man. I think he's let's talk about him first.
All right. Nate Ament, a forward/wing out of Tennessee, and I don't even want to say polarizing, because I feel like 90% of people on Bucks Twitter and just in general do not want anything to do with this guy. And I feel like everyone I've talked to, I kind of agrees. They're like, please, not Nate Ament, not Nate Ament. But I think everyone also collectively feels like if they had to put money down on who the pick would be, it might be Nate Ament. And a lot of mocks have us taking him. And I know Haslam went to Tennessee, so there's ties there. And so that always comes into play. But bottom line, he is a forward wing out of Tennessee, 6'10", 210 pounds with a 6'11 and a half wingspan. He's 19 years old. And the main gist of it is that he's very raw, but the archetype and the mold is there for him to possibly be a good player down the road, but he's a ways away. He has good length and mobility, has some possible two-way upside, like being a 6'10 guy that can handle the ball a little bit, score from the mid-rangers, like shades of a Brandon Ingram-esque player in there, where it's this lanky guy that can hit shots from the mid-range and is skilled. And then obviously with that size, there's defensive potential as well. But the issue is that, he's got to put on weight. He's very unpolished with everything. Every part of his game right now. He was very inefficient at Tennessee. He shot 39% from the field, 33% from three. 39% from the field, or I guess it was rounding up 40, but 39.9% from the field for a guy that's 6'10" is pretty awful. And there's finishing concerns with his lack of strength. The defensive consistency is not there yet. He's still just a ways away. His body is a ways away. There's not a ton he's actually good at right now. It's all just like theoretical. The one thing he is good at is foul drawing. He gets to the line a lot. 7.1 free throw attempts per game, which was top 10 in the nation. So that is something that is a weapon for him right now, and has been big for him in this time where, he's not very efficient from the field. There's not a lot he's proven that he can do well yet, but his getting to the line has been able to kind of be his crutch, that he gets points from the line. But bottom line, theoretical, project type of pick this would be. And I would think that if they go the route of Nate Ament, it is an indicator that Giannis is not going to be here, because I don't know why you would draft a guy like this if you're keeping Giannis. But I said the same thing about AJ Johnson. So give me your Nate Ament thoughts, and then we'll dive deeper into the specifics.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a very theoretical prospect that's not really good at a ton. I mean, he had a good stretch in there from maybe in January where, he was scoring the ball really well. But again, like just lacks burst off the dribble, just like someone, 0.4, like, oh, he could do a little bit of everything. But right now he can basically do a lot of nothing. It's interesting that, I think like from a Bucks perspective, I think the national media has gone down on him a bit as the draft process has gone on, which is good. So maybe I don't want the Bucks to entertain him. So I think that might be good. But yeah, man, just not really good at much. Like you said, the free throw stuff was the best by far, and him getting to the line. But he's also someone who doesn't get to the rim a ton because he lacks burst and can't really get to the rim a ton. So like, I don't know if that's something that'll translate right away. And that's like the free throw stuff was kind of the only thing that he had going for him this season. And like, over the course of the season. So yeah, man, just one of those guys where it's all theoretical. This is a project for sure. Again, it's on both ends too. Like he's not really a good defensive player right now. Like maybe some flashes here and there, but yeah, nothing on either end that sticks out.
Yeah, when you're 6'10" and you're taking that many mid-range shots, that's not all, it's nice that he has the skill to be able to hit some of those shots and stuff, and that's intriguing, but it's also an indicator that, like you said, he's not good at getting to the paint too much. He wasn't, didn't take a ton of shots at the rim. He took 9.6 shots per 100 from the mid-range, 7.5 from 3, and 6.2 from the rim. So they're getting to the rim was his, lowest frequency type of shot. And then, wasn't really efficient at any of those. I forgot how bad the rim number was.
It's terrible. It's like literally awful. 51.8%, which is in the fourth percentile of finishing at the rim. This guy is 6'10".
51.8. And it's according to, so when I looked at Synergy had him at like 47 point something at the rim, which is just unfathomable. Again, for a player of his size, that's unfathomable. Even if this was for a 6-foot guard, that would be bad. For him to be 6'10", shooting, barely 50% from the rim is absurd. So, and then, the mid-range is 37.3%, which is 42nd percentile. The 3-point is 33.3%, which is 35th percentile. All of those below average. And the steal and block rates are average. The rebounding numbers, offensive and defensively, are slightly below average. As many turnovers as assists. The free throw rate, 93rd percentile, great, but there's not a lot else that you're like, now, like, this is something you can hang his hat on.
Legitimately, almost nothing else. Like the free throw rate is insane that it's that high for someone who doesn't get to the rim and can't finish at the rim. And it's like, why are you even following this guy if you can't finish at the rim? It's crazy. Yeah, and just like as far as translation goes, like I don't see it getting there for a really long time. And I think at the end of the day, this is probably not someone that's going to be, the usage was decently high for him, pretty high. I just don't see him being that type of guy in the NBA as far as like someone who's going to like throughout games be getting the ball and being asked to create. But then again, like, okay, that's fine, but can he catch and shoot? Not really. Can he is he going to catch and, get to the rim a bit? Not really. Like, I don't see it. I don't really see like where this is headed unless this is like a team buying in and like really going to let him develop, which again, like it seems like a very long ways away.
So again, just looking at some more of these stats, I came up with, I did a query in Bartorvik and I was looking up of players that were at least 6'10" last season in Division I. So there's 208 players in Division I that were at least 6'10" last season. He was 206th out of 208 in 2-point field goal percentage at 43%. So just plain 2-point percentage, whether that's mid range, the rim. I mean, and again, the fact that he's taking a lot of them from mid range obviously hurts that, but it's a testament to him not being able to get to the rim, not being able to finish at the rim, that he feels like he always has to be taking the mid range shots. Yeah. Not great. Not great. And it's just watching him, like just from an eye test. And I joke about how I don't watch film and it only stuff that matters is the stats, but I did, I do go through and watch the clips. And first of all, let's just point out, I don't think we talked about this at all in the last one, but we're not the people that watch one highlight video and come to a conclusion based on that, because
Pretty sure.
number one, it's a highlight video. It's meant to only show you they're good. You're going to come away from it thinking that a guy's way better than he is. You're not going to get to see the full picture of what they're actually bad at. Like I could show you a highlight video that makes Nate Ament look like he is the best finisher in college basketball, because he's just him hitting layups and dunking and everything. And you wouldn't have any idea that, oh no, this guy actually is one of the worst finishers in college basketball. But anyways, so I went through and was just looking at all the clips. Luckily I have access to a Synergy account. Shout out to my guy Paint Touches on Marquette's Twitter. But luckily I have access to that, so it lets me I can go to certain shot types and look at their makes or their misses and defensively and stuff like that. But just watching him, it's just very clunky. And it's funny how even the highlight videos that some people post on Twitter that are trying to hype him up are just not even that impressive. And you're like, this is not good. He's losing the ball and he's kind of flailing around and then throws up a shot that goes in. It's like, that's not good. That's not good. And so, yeah, it's very clunky. The feel doesn't feel like it's there right now, where I just don't think he knows exactly what he's doing all the time. And that goes for the defensive end as well. There's a lot of times where not only do the physicality issues come up, but he also has the issues just, not understanding where to be. So there's a lot of bad. And
I think clunky is a really good word for him, because he's 6'10". It just doesn't feel like he's ever been 6'10". Like he just woke up one day and he found out he was 6'10".
Yeah, he's got that baby deer thing where, and I don't want to treat it like this is, oh, well, if he pans out, he could be a Giannis type of player, or a guy like that who was also like that. I know Giannis was skinny and Giannis had that didn't have great feel and all that stuff to begin with. But it's one of the things I wanted to bring up was, and a reason I'm just not high on him, even if the Bucks are getting rid of Giannis, I don't think the potential is actually that high. Even if he does end up panning out a little bit in a few years and developing some of these things, I think his best case scenario is something similar to, I had Jabari Smith as my kind of comp. If he would have to develop a little bit physically and become a little bit more polished offensively, or just become more polished offensively. But even then, I just don't think he's going to be some type of star player. I don't think you're missing out on this unbelievable talent and this crazy good prospect. Now, again, is there zero chance of that happening? I guess there is a chance. I could be wrong, and there is a chance maybe he does become a lot better than I think. But the reason I'm not interested at all in him is because I'm like, the worst case scenario is this guy is a complete bust, and the best case scenario is he's a half decent, sixth guy on a team that I just don't think he's going to be some star player. So, and maybe his floor is even higher than I don't even want to say that, but maybe it's a case where I feel like the narrative around him is he is so boom or bust that maybe that's a little extreme, and maybe he's not as boom as people think, and he's not as bust as people think. It might be a little bit more middle ground, but the bottom line is I don't think his reward is near worth the risk that is required when drafting him, because I don't really see it panning out to be some star player.
I mean, I think Jabari Smith is a pretty solid comp for him, because I think what you'd be banking on is okay, this guy's just going to be a 6'10" guy who can catch and shoot, because the feel isn't there with the ball. He lacks explosion. When he gets in a crowd, it doesn't look like he knows where he wants to go with it. So yeah, I mean, the hope for him is hey man, just figure out how to catch and shoot, and then we'll go from there. Figure out how to catch and shoot and try to be better on the glass, which he was, average at hitting the boards. So like that has to be like the first thing. But yeah, man, outside of that, like I don't know what you would be hoping for him. Like again, not someone I think is going to handle the ball a ton because he doesn't look comfortable with that. So yeah, man, the floor and ceiling stuff with him is, yeah, like you said, like it's a bit scary, and you can see why people are kind of doing the like boom or bust thing with him. But yeah, it's a tough one for sure.
If he had more of either feel or like vertical athleticism, like pop,
he just then I think like both of those. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like if he had one of those, and neither of those things are things that you just develop. Like those are things you kind of either have or you don't. Yep. And so the fact that he has neither of those is why I'm just like, I don't see the ceiling being that high. I don't see how you can. And again, it's gonna be something that I end up being wrong about, but it's just hard for me to see a player without either of those things, or at least that I don't see has either of those things, being that good of a player. Because it's like you don't have the vertical pop, the athleticism to pop that way, and you don't have the feel, the IQ, the whatever you want to call it to pop that way. And so it's like, well, okay, what's the best you really can be if you don't have either of those things? So I don't know. Those are two important things to me if I'm evaluating a prospect, and for him not to have either is just like, that's a big red flag to me. And those were kind of the two things that made me go, I don't even see the ceiling being that high. It's not worth it to me. I'm good. We're good over here. So the problem, hopefully. Yeah, I was going to say the problem is that, and this was from May 10th. So this was right after the draft lottery. I was looking at mock drafts. I tweeted this out. I don't know what these all have right now, but original mock drafts had, ESPN had Nate Ament to the Bucks. CBS had Nate Ament to the Bucks. The Athletic, Yahoo, New York Post, Sports Illustrated all had Nate Ament to the Bucks. I don't know if this was, again, I haven't really checked. I haven't been keeping up to date on all of these. So I don't know if they still have that, but I don't know if it was anything Intel based or if it was just them saying or assuming, okay, well, Giannis is gone, so who's the highest potential guy that they can draft at this spot, and we'll just have them taking a huge swing, and Nate Ament's that huge swing. So I don't know if this was actually based on anything. I don't know if it was actually an indicator of like people knowing something, but it is a guy that is being heavily mocked to the Bucks, which is scary.
From what I've seen and like read up on, I don't think any of that's Intel based. A lot more along the lines of what you said, like this team likes to take swings. This is literally the biggest swing you can take at 10. So,
and I don't blame them. I don't blame them for picking this, because every Bucks fan deep down is like, this is who they would take. This is the type of pick that they would make, that it would just be like, come on, what are we doing here? And this guy ends up turning into nothing.
I will say the good thing right now is there is intel out there from, you'd have to check the source. I don't remember where I've seen it, but that the Nets are interested at 6, I think, in Nate Ament, as well as the Hawks, who are 8th. So maybe there's a chance he's not even on the board for the Bucks to take.
Until we trade up to 5 to get him. Clippers said they wanted to move back. Bucks are leaping in to get their guy.
Oh man, can you imagine that happens?
Not only do we take him, we trade up to get him. That'd be funny.
I don't even know if there's like a. Oh man, yeah. Like I'd be afraid if they traded up and said like, "Oh, we're not taking him." Like, oh my goodness, who are you taking there?
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, like, let's just hypothetically, the 5th pick comes up. Bucks are trading up with the Clippers. What would be your first? Who would be your first thought? Like, are you thinking? Like, would you be thinking Ament? Would you be thinking? I don't even know. Like, I obviously, I guess my first thoughts would be they want either Acuff or Wagler, but that doesn't seem like the type of player the Bucks would go after.
No, yeah, it would have to be someone like that who's like, I would throw Michael in there too, like someone just like polarizing, like, oh, we need that guard. Like we're not waiting. Oh man, yeah, that's
Kareem Lopez. Kareem Lopez.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to him, but anyways, give me a grade, keeping Giannis and not keeping Giannis for Nate Ament if the Bucks take him at pick 10.
I would say if they're keeping Giannis, that's probably a F.
I went nice. I said D minus.
So I was gonna go D minus for if they were to like not have Giannis. Then I mean, yeah, nah, probably not. Like
I went D minus if they're keeping Giannis, and then I did D plus if they're not keeping Giannis. Like again, just because I guess you could, if they're not keeping Giannis, you could make some argument that okay, this is a swing, but there's some potential there, and the archetype is good.
He learned from Kuz. Like
exactly. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
And so you could make some type. I mean, again, I'm still giving it a D plus. I'm not giving it a good grade, but it's like you could at least squint and see. Like I kind of understand what they're doing, but I don't know.
I have Ament at 21. 21 on my big board. Where's he at?
So I haven't looked at I've looked at 29 guys, and he is 24th. But he'll probably be a little bit lower. No, sorry, he's 23rd. He'll probably be a couple spots lower because there's a couple guys I think that I might put a little bit ahead that I haven't fully looked at yet. But
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
I've done most of the first round, guys.
Yeah. Low.
So, all right. Ready to move on to Yaxel.
My guy.
Yax. Buck's Twitter's favorite guy.
Yeah.
And so, okay. Kind of, like I said, almost we're going a complete opposite direction here. Same position-ish, and he's a forward. He's got good size and everything, 6'9", but he's 240 pounds, 7'3" and a quarter wingspan, 23.7 years old. So he'll be almost 24 by the time the NBA season starts in October. He's from Michigan. So
you said he will be 24 when the season starts?
Almost. He'll be, I think his birthday's in like November or something.
Oh, okay.
But basically, yeah, a kind of opposite end of the spectrum from Ament. Ament's this, younger and like very unpolished, very unproven, not really good at anything right now, but has potential. And Yaxel Lendeborg is the older, experienced, mature, much better at everything right now and like proven right now, but doesn't have a ton of potential down the road. There are questions about his ceiling and how good he actually can become, but it's pretty clear, like right now, putting him in an NBA game, like you can do that. He can play, and he's got a pretty high floor. I think he's got the highest floor, at least when it comes to like being a solid role player, as almost anyone in the draft. Now, again, you can talk about the ceiling and stuff, and we'll get into that. But if you're just looking for, we need a role player and someone who can defend, can rebound, can, kind of provide a little bit of everything, he's one of the best bets to do that. And it'd be surprising if he didn't end up being at least a solid player in the NBA. But I'll just quickly run through a couple things with him. Like I said, pretty versatile all over can do a little bit of everything. Good on-ball defender with his size and strength, can rebound, has some versatility as far as scoring, where he can be kind of an off-ball finisher. He can put it on the floor a little bit and get to the rim. He can hit the spot-up threes occasionally, and also can give you some secondary creation playmaking stuff. I think he averaged like 4-point-something assists at UAB before he got to Michigan, and then still averaged a few last year. So he's able to like create some offense with the ball in his hands a little bit. I mean, he's not going to be any type of primary creator, but someone that at times can play a little bit of a point forward type of role and limit turnovers. I mean, he only averaged 1.1 turnovers, well, averaging 3.2 assists. So that was, that's a really good assist to turnover ratio. So can do a lot of things well. And it's hard to see him just completely busting in the NBA. But yeah, then again, the issues are the age, the lack of potential, isn't very shifty. Like he's kind of rigid and with his movements. So that kind of raises some questions, and isn't really like any type of bucket getting mid-range type of player. So the scoring upside's not there. If he's not getting to the rim or getting a spot up three, he can't really do much offensively as far as scoring. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things to like about him, but obvious questions. Your thoughts? I mean, I know your general thoughts, but let the people know your thoughts on Yaxel.
This entire process, I've just felt like I've been a little lower on him than everybody else. And it's just like, I think he's a little worse at everything that people are saying he's like really good at. You know what I mean? Like, I think the 3-point shooting is not elite. I think he started 28% in like his first 25 games and then shot 48% the rest of the way. Like, the 3-point rate isn't like that of someone who's like just shooting the lights out of the ball. You know what I mean? Like, I think the on-ball defense is a little worse than people are saying it is, because like you said, he's not some type of like, he's very athletic and like can move well for someone his size. But like, I said this last time we talked about him, I don't think he's going to be a primary wing defender. Maybe he gets there, but like out of just need. But I just don't think, I think he's a little worse at everything people are saying he's really good at, like the rebounding, the versatility defensively, the on-ball creation. I don't think is there. I don't see it. So I mean, that's all it is. I just think he's slightly worse at everything that he's really good at, people are saying he's really good at, and that just pushes him down a few spots for me. Like, I still have him, I think 13th on my big board. I would not be mad at this pick at all. Like you said, the upside isn't there with him like it is for some of the other guys in this range. And I think more so with Yaxel than a lot of these other guys, he really lacks the on-ball creation upside. So again, that's huge in projecting one ceiling. If you're taking him for right now for the next 4 years, sure, have at it. I think it's a really solid pick. He's going to come in and like he can play tomorrow, but down the road, just think he's going to be the same player, man.
Yeah. And like I say, like the opposite of what I say with Ament, if the Bucks do end up taking him, I think that's a huge sign that they have to be feeling good about their, chances of keeping Giannis, because I don't know why you would make that pick if you're going into a rebuild. And he does fit obviously with kind of what the Bucks need right now, if they are keeping Giannis and really just trying to like, not that they should be tinkering with the roster, they should be kind of overhauling it. But if they're just looking at what they needed last year and what they need to improve on, like with the defense, with the rebounding, he can provide those things, and he's not a negative offensively. Like, he's a very, capable offensive player. Like I said, he is capable of hitting threes. He can do a little bit with the ball in his hands. He is an athletic, strong finisher. But like you said, I don't blame you at all for thinking that he is just like not quite as proven and as great at everything as, because everyone kind of just assumed like, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people I've seen just have this idea that, oh, this guy, like he can shoot, he can create, he can, he has more of a ceiling than people think. He's super athletic. He can guard 1 through 5. And it's like, okay, like, I don't think all of that's true. And for me, when I watched him, I found that I think a little bit higher on him offensively than some people, and I was lower on him defensively than most people. On-ball defense was fine. I think the strength really helps him. Like, he's really good down low. But on the perimeter and stuff, like, again, he was kind of rigid. He doesn't move quite that well, and I thought there were plenty of times where guards could get around him easily and get past him easily. Now, there were still times where he was able to recover and block a shot with his length. He's got a huge wingspan. He's athletic. That's still a positive he has, that he can get beat and still possibly, block a shot. But I didn't look at him as someone that like, this guy's going to just lock up basically anyone at the next level, and he can just be a completely versatile 1 through 5 defender. It's like you said, I don't know if he's a true wing defender like that. He's probably more of a forward defender who can occasionally switch on to guards and quicker wings on the perimeter. But sure, I don't think that's something that you want him doing full time. No, and again, that's not like a huge knock on him. It's not like,
right.
oh my God, this guy sucks because he can't stay with guards all the time on the perimeter. But it's like, if you're going to sit here and tout him as this unbelievable defender, like I don't really see that. I see him as like a good defender, but not someone that is going to come in and be, and the comps I see, and I don't hate this comp completely. I know you do. Like I see OG Anunoby. It is a worse version. Like it's a watered down version. Don't get me wrong. He's not going to be as good as OG Anunoby. And I think the main reason to me he's not going to be as good is like he's not that level of a defender. Like OG Anunoby is an all NBA level defender. I don't see him being that. I see him being like a good defender, just not otherworldly.
I think a lot of that too has to do with, my bad to cut you off. I just think a lot of that has to do with, like we said, going back to like, okay, he's big, but he's not as athletic maybe or flexible, like to be out on the perimeter doing what OG does, like game in and game out. Like OG is like solidified. That's your primary wing defender, like every day of the week. What about Cam Johnson? Like, I think I can get behind Cam Johnson a little bit more because of just Cam Johnson, slightly more stiff.
I was going to say, I see it way more with the movements. Like when the way he moves, I can see him. He's a much more similar to Cam Johnson than he is to OG. But when go ahead.
I just think, my bad. I keep doing that, but
no, it's fine. I've been talking this whole time, so it's all good.
No, you're good. With Cam, again, like maybe just more the defensive stuff. Maybe it's more of like Cam Johnson's not going to create a ton of offense. And I think we've seen OG be someone who can scale it up when needed. And Cam has never been that. I guess he had the year last year in Brooklyn where he did a little bit more, but like not to the level of OG. I think Yaxel is probably going to be someone who's a bit more dominant, obviously, maybe not dominant, but like a bit better down low, rebounding, being a weak side rim protector, that type of stuff versus Cam, who's maybe a little bit better on the perimeter. But like as far as like athletically, like those guys are not jumping off the page athletically. They're not going to create a ton of offense, if any at all. So like I think that would be more like where I am with him as like a wing versus someone like OG, who I just think is like top of the line role player type wing. Like I think that's like as high as it gets before you get into like all-star level guys.
Yeah. And so, I think he could be, again, not OG level, but like a watered down version, a OG adjacent type of player, but not that good. But it's like that's, and when we talk about this, it's like, well, you have to look at it like this. If you're drafting this guy, like the best case scenario is he becomes a worse version of OG Anunoby. And again, for some teams, that's fantastic. Like, again, if you just told me the Bucks could add that to their team a couple years ago when they were already like, that's great. Yeah. But if you're a team that is like, we really are looking for stardom and we're just kind of trying to get talent, you don't want a worse version. Like that's not going to do a ton for you getting a guy like that. So it's a matter of like, does your team, is that a good enough outcome for you to draft this guy, in the lottery, in the top 10, whatever. One other thing, or I guess multiple other things, but one thing I wanted to talk about is he kind of, maybe I'm wrong about this. Is he kind of quietly like not that athletic? Yaxel I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
so, and I know these numbers aren't everything, but like his vertical leap was not good. His standing vertical leap was not good at all. I mean, these were like he had the second worst standing vertical leap in the whole combine. Only better.
They're going to show you his pro lane agility, man. And I am like anti pro lane agility, but that's what they're going to point to.
Yeah, but like so I don't know. I was surprised at how bad his leaping numbers were. That he was only ahead of Adayamara in his standing vertical leap, and then he was only better than three guys, two of them being centers in his max vertical leap. Because and I don't know, it's kind of surprising because when you watch some of his highlights, it does look like he can get up more, and he has some really like explosive dunks and transition and stuff that you're like, oh wow, like this guy's an athletic freak. And then you're kind of like, then there's other times you watch him and he doesn't look that athletic at all. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But I remember when this was early in the season, I had him on my radar as someone the Bucks could possibly take, and I told my dad like, oh, here, watch this guy on Michigan. And he had said, his first thing was he just doesn't move that well to me. And again, it's funny because it's like the talk about him is that he's so versatile and he can do it. And it's like, but there are times you watch him and it's just like, he doesn't move as well as you kind of think. And kind of similar to like the Miles Turner thing. We got Miles Turner and everyone kind of thinks like this guy he's so versatile and he's so mobile. Yeah. And then you kind of watch him and you're like, he kind of doesn't move as well as everyone talks about. And
I mean, it's funny too, like seeing him watching games and Marez Johnson is there at like basically the same measurables, but like Marez is like the real, like legitimate, like freak athlete. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, again, still doesn't move the greatest. He's still pretty big. But like, man, Marez really jumps off the page as like an athlete. And like that guy is like, no, he's a big, you know what I mean? Like he's going to play below the free throw line, maybe, have some switchability, can get out there and, switch some pick and rolls. But like, other than that, like, no, that guy's going to block a ton of shots and be a force by the rim. But like we look at Yaxel a completely different way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do, again, want to kind of reiterate some of the good with him because there is plenty of good. We're not trying to, I don't want this to be just like we hate Yaxel, but it is, I think we're a little bit lower on him than most. I'm higher on him than you are, I think for sure. I'm more like he'd be I think we're probably similar. Like if the Bucks aren't keeping Giannis, I'm very like mad about it. If the Bucks are keeping Giannis, it's like, pretty good pick. Not my favorite pick, but it's a good pick. Yeah. And
I would still like we don't gotta jump right into it. Like I'd give it a B-.
If they were keeping Giannis and taking him.
I would. And again, like this maybe goes to, my philosophy, like what my roster building philosophy would be. But like, I understand that people would want to win next year and rightfully so, yada, yada, yada. I think they need to still swing a bit bigger and try to find someone long-term. And I just don't think Yax has that upside. And I would swing a little, for a better prospect down the road. And that's just roster building stuff. I get it if you would rate that draft pick a little higher though.
I had it if they're keeping Giannis, because I'm like, if you're keeping Giannis, I'm trying to win these next 1 to 2
for sure.
Like whatever. I'm just trying to do whatever we can to be good right now. Probably not the best thing for the future of the franchise, but whatever. At this point we're too far all in. But if we're keeping Giannis, I did have it as like closer to B+ A- level, just because I'm like I'd be like,
yeah, and like I said, I completely get that. I mean, I hate to talk about him like this, and then I still have him 13th on the big board, man. Like he's still right there with a lot of those other guys. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, he is a good player. I touched on it earlier, like the size, the strength. There is some defensive versatility there, even though it's not as good as we don't think it's as good as people are advertising. There still is defensive versatility. He's a good rebounder. He was, top 10 in the country in rebounds per game at UAB. Plays with great motor, like he's physical and stuff. I'm not worried about him being like soft down low or anything. And yeah, I mean like I said, I'm higher on him offensively than I think other people are, and I'm lower on him defensively.
I wanted to get into that.
Yeah,
no, I wanted for you to get into that.
So offensively, like there's just I was very intrigued at his ability to kind of run some offense and like out of the pick and roll. Like as a pick and roll ball handler, he was pretty damn effective this past season. 94th percentile scoring plus assisting out of the pick and roll as a ball handler. And then again, the assist to turnover ratio was like kind of eye opening. I'm just like, man, he, 3.2 assists, 1.1 turnovers. Like I like that he doesn't, that to me is an indicator. And even watching it, like it felt like he was pretty good at choosing when to drive and attack and stuff and wasn't forcing it too much. Now we can talk about how we'll get into like how some of his stuff is hard to evaluate because of how good their team was compared to if he had to have a bigger load offensively, then he probably would have had more turnovers. But I don't know. It was nice that he was able to generate assists. He was able to get to the paint and stuff, but also never really turn the ball over. And so I don't know. Like I think it was just nice to see like some of that versatility. He's able to hit threes out of the pick and roll, like like pulling up from three, not just always spotting up. He could be someone who like brings the ball up the court, comes out of a pick and roll, hits a three, or comes out of a pick and roll, and fires a pocket pass or an entry pass to someone. And it's like, I don't know, there was more versatility there than even I had expected going in. And during the season, I remember when I had hinted at possibly wanting him, some of it was just Badger fans being Michigan haters, but I know people were like, he sucks offensively. I'm like, he's not that bad offensively. Like, he can do quite a bit. And I know he wasn't like you said, he was streaky shooting where he, for points of this season, and I know for the first little bit was below 30% from three, but then he got hot and turned it on. So people were kind of just looking at that going, oh, his 3-point percentage was low, so he isn't a good scorer. And it was like, well, I feel like he can do more than that. But yeah, combined with the ability to do stuff with the ball in his hands, obviously he can be like a play finisher out of the post. He can throw down lobs. He can, cutting. I thought he was pretty solid on cutting. He was 16 of 21 from the field on cuts, 13 of 20 on post ups. Not super high volume, but like those are good numbers. And so yeah, I just thought there was a lot there offensively that I liked, and I like that his 3-point shot is improving year over year, where he's taking more per game. Went from 33% on 1 attempt per game, his whatever that would have been freshman season, to 36% on 2 a game his next season, and now 37% on nearly 5 a game this past season. So I just like that improvement, even though it hasn't been perfectly consistent. I like that improvement. And on unguarded catch and shoots, he's 45% from 3 this past season.
Do you mind if I throw out some bad stats real quick?
Go ahead.
So again, like when we talk upside, this is a few of the things that you might look at, right? So like you said, 2.5 attempts per 100 from the mid-range was his 9th percentile, and that's on 37.7%. And then you get into like just him being one of the worst isolation players in the country. I think it was 20%.
3 for 15. Yeah, 3 for 15.
Yeah, so not a ton of volume, but there's that. Again, no mid-range to go along with that. It's just a bit tough to be respected as someone, again, like if you were to increase him as a on-ball guy and want him to get in more pick and roll stuff, like then, I don't know. I think that becomes a question there too, right? Like how much are teams going to respect you out of that? So, I mean that, and then I think, again, I talked about the shooting. Like I think he's not a versatile shooter, if that's, if you want to say that. Like, I think it's going to be mostly spot ups because he was 28% on movement threes and then 23% in transition. So just not a lot of versatility there as well. So like, it's going to be pick and pop and him in the corner. Like, it's just not going to be a ton there versus someone like we talked about last week, Cam Carr, who seems to have a deeper bag as far as that stuff goes. So I don't know. Like we said, that's like upside talk, and again, just trying to rationalize where I have him, where I do, and just my like tone towards him this entire time. Like, it's fine player. I don't think the upside's there, and I think he's just maybe a little bit worse at everything that people are kind of, boosting him up about. So I don't know, but like I said, man, still a pick that I would be pretty fine with should they be keeping Giannis going forward. Like, I think if they don't, though, like that's when it gets to like, yeah, I would take this guy off the board.
Yeah. And just touching on, some of those stats you mentioned. I mean, I have that in the article I wrote up where he had basically no tough shot making ability whatsoever. I mean, his, like you said, and nothing in the mid range, nothing as far as creating separation, going and getting a bucket from the mid range. It was all like you either have to get to the rim or hit a 3 or else give the ball up. I mean, there was just nothing in the mid range. Guarded catch and shoot threes, he was just 29.2% compared to, like I said, 45% when he was unguarded, and just doesn't have like the burst or separation ability to do, like, again, create his own shot, get separation from his defender and just pull up. And the other thing we have to talk about, in addition to his teammates being really good and that affecting, everyone talks about his impact numbers and all that. It's like, that's affected by him being on the best team in college basketball and having all these stud players around him. The other thing is he's 24 going against college kids. So obviously, like, that helps him. I mentioned scoring out of the pick and roll, getting to the rim and all that stuff. That stuff's easier when you're going against people 6 years younger than you, physically not as developed as you. Not every player he's playing against is 18, but most players he's playing against were younger, less physically developed. It's going to be a little bit easier. It's fair to question does that stuff just right away translate to the NBA? Is he just going to come to the NBA and still be able to do that stuff at the level people are acting like he will be able to just come in immediately and do it at? So I don't know. There are definitely fair questions about that. And like, I think it'll translate overall, but it might not be as seamless as people sometimes think, because like I said, there's an athleticism difference, a size difference, an age difference that the NBA players are going to have that obviously the guys he's going against right now just don't quite have. And but I completely agree about the upside stuff. I mean, like I said, I was looking at the stats and looking at everything. I'm like, no ability to really create his own shot in the perimeter whatsoever. And it's almost impossible to have any type of huge ceiling if that's the case. I mean, if you can't get your own shot on the perimeter, you're just going to be like a role player.
So are you like in that similar boat where if Giannis is like not going to be on the roster, are you just taking him off the board at that point?
I mean, kind of. It would take me. See, I don't know why I still have him as a C range if we're not keeping Giannis, just because I do think he's a good basketball player right now. And it's like, I get it's one of those where I'm like, they could do worse, because you could take someone that turns into nothing, and I at least know that he'll probably turn into something. So, but it definitely would not be very exciting if they're not keeping Giannis and they take him and be like, where's the upside? But that's kind of, again, why I have it in the C range rather than in the B or A range. But I can't hate on it too much, just with how bad some of it's just how bad their draft picks have been. It'd be like, hey, we drafted the hardest guy to possibly, completely screw up maybe in this range of the draft. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Oh, by the way, one other thing, his off-ball defense is not very good.
Oh man, I'm glad you brought that up, because yeah, man, it just didn't come away impressed off ball.
There was a lot of times where, I mean, I made a whole compilation of it, but there were a lot of times where he would double or go, swarm the ball when he didn't need to, and it would just leave his guy open on the perimeter, and then he wouldn't be able to recover and stuff, or he would just lose track of his guy in the perimeter and just kind of not ball watch, but he would go ball hawk and try to like go force a steal or something, or trap someone that he didn't need to, and then open threes as a result. So there were just definitely times where maybe he was getting, like, I thought there were times where I just suspected maybe he's like, I can kind of do whatever I want out here because I have the best defense in college basketball that is going to make up for whatever I do wrong. So I don't know.
Quickly going through like the Grizzlies' previous picks, just cross-checking what their age is. They don't typically take older players, and again, maybe this is like a completely unique situation, which it is, but they're typically going pretty young, man. I don't know though, but like, this is a completely different prospect. We've never seen a guy this old with, this type of like statistical background. Because I mean, of the older guys who have came out, he's probably the best in a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that makes it unique in itself, and then obviously what we're dealing with as well.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to compare him to the other older prospects, because you're like, I don't know how many of them were this good coming out and had this many things they could do, and I don't know. It's hard to completely compare, but I didn't love throwing out the OG Anunoby thing, but it came to mind. I mean, I know he's talked about PJ Washington as a guy that he tries to emulate a little bit, which I can see a little bit, but
I mean, like PJ's like completely a four though. Like he doesn't do a ton on the ball, and that's what, like, again, and that was my thing in the entire time. It's like, man, he's not this on-ball guy that I think you guys think he is. And you guys, just speaking towards a lot of people on Bucks Twitter right now.
Yeah, but I will say, I do believe in him as like a tertiary, is that the word? Creator?
Yeah.
Like someone that's like, if
I can get behind that. No, I can get behind that all day. Like, I think that's completely fine.
So yeah, basically he's a point forward essentially. That should be running an offense for 40 minutes a night is what I'm saying.
Yeah, give him the rock. Cam Johnson was 23.3 years old when he got drafted. What pick did he go? He was lotto, right?
He was like 12.
Okay.
12 or 13 or something. But yeah, anything else you want to touch on with him before we wrap it up?
No, I think we hit everything, and I think we like went into him maybe deep, like more than we've done any other prospect, which is pretty good. We gave a ton of good and bad on him, and again, someone who I think if the Bucks draft him and they're keeping Giannis around, I still think it's a fine pick, man.
Yeah, and again, compared to the other picks, it'd be like a breath of fresh air where you're like, okay, they just drafted, again, knock on wood, but drafted a sure thing and drafted something that you're like, okay, we can at least get something out of this guy. He's going to be productive. He's going to give you something. So, and that's again why I had, if they keep Giannis, I graded him as a B+, A- even for myself. I know you're lower, but I would be pretty happy with it. So.
I think he starts, right? I don't know, man. These guys love Kuzma.
But we did talk about this. We were like, I hope they're not drafting him.
Yeah.
With the idea of I want to start him at the 3, because it's like I don't think he's like your starting 3. Like I don't want that to be what he is, because I don't. Yeah. So, and that would be at the time they draft him. Yes, that would be, he'd have to be the starting 3 because they don't have anyone really else. But I would hope that their plan is, we're going to kind of bring him off the bench as more of a role player than make him our starting 3 right away and throw him into that role. I would hope the plan is we're getting someone else to go along with this that we think can start at the 3, and we have Yaxel as well as like a backup and someone that maybe there could be times where he's playing the 4 and Giannis is playing the 5 or whatever. I don't know. It just gives you some flexibility, but it's like, I don't want to see it at the 3.
As it stands right now too, I mean, we got a long way to go, but like doing that to him completely takes away any hypothetical like positional versatility too, right? Like you're just sticking him at the 3 and like, hey, dude, we got this guy right here who's going to take up about 48 minutes at the 4, and we got a big we like 2 that we pay a good amount of money. Like that kind of takes away all the positional versatility that was you were theoretically buying into when you drafted him. So yeah.
And that's kind of what we saw a little bit with Kuzma when we traded for him, was they talked all this versatility and all this stuff. And it was like, well, you never played him at the 4 with Giannis at the 5. You never really did. You just kind of threw him into the 3 and didn't really do much else with him. And it just kind of took away from him.
Forced him to like be this creator too, that we again, like thought that, we knew if they were going to do that, it was going to be bad. And that's exactly what happened. Like, oh man, now Kuzma's at the 3 and he has to create offense, which we were kind of trying to get away from there. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the worry and like why you would steer a different direction. But I mean, this team has a ton of holes. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for us. We'll have another episode actually out later this week covering a couple other guys as we ramp up this process. And the draft is it the 23rd? Is that when the draft is?
I was just going to ask you that. That sounds about right though.
I know it's 2 days. 23rd and 24th. So we are 3 weeks away today from the first round of the draft. So we'll have a few more of these episodes covering a couple guys in the Bucks range, and then it will be draft time, and we'll be getting into the off season and the thick of things, and possibly finding out what happens with Giannis and stuff. A lot of stuff to get to, but that'll do it. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, you can follow myself at Nathan Marzian, Stev at Bucks_breakdown, and the podcast at BucksU_pod on Twitter. Be sure to subscribe and follow this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, Bucks and 6.